Can I get you to introduce yourself, please?
Hi there, I'm Staff Sgt Mark Bowker. I'm from 4th Regiment Army Air Corps and I'm a British Army Apache helicopter pilot.
Now, you had the honour of flying this beautiful machine into Liverpool, didn't you?
Yeah, well, we came in on Thursday evening, landed about 6:30 and we got a nice shot of the Three Graces as we shot our final approach across the city.
What was it like flying her in?
It's a brilliant experience. It's not a place where the Apache usually visits because we tend to be based down south. But for me, coming in and seeing all the landmarks of Merseyside that I know so well was a great honour.
Is there anything else that can match that you've done?
Yeah, we've done a lot of flying around California, going through the canyons in California on training, and also flying off ships in the Baltic Sea in the middle of the night. It's quite challenging. So yeah, different aspects, different reasons why they're challenging, but all great fun.
What's your favourite time of night or day to fly?
I'm more of a night guy because the Apache is, it's an aircraft that likes to go out at night and do its job, and I quite like the technology that we use in infrared to fly at night.
Is there anything you find difficult flying, or is it very easy flying this one?
It's very busy, I'd say. We're trained to a very high level, and it takes almost 4 years worth of training to get yourself into an Apache. So yeah, some things are difficult and challenging, but we have the best crews available to make that happen.
What do you have to do to become an Apache helicopter pilot? What other things do you have to do beforehand?
There's various routes. I initially served in the army on the ground. I served for 5 years and did a tour of Afghanistan and then applied for pilot training afterwards. A lot of people do that, or you can apply directly to be an officer in the army, post college or university, go through officer training and then get yourself selected to become a pilot.
So how long have you been in the army for, if you don't mind me asking?
I've done 11 years now in the army, did 5 years on the ground and 6 years flying.
So which do you prefer, on the ground or flying?
Both are enjoyable for different reasons, but I like to be in the sky.
Now, most people think of the Apache being an RAF helicopter and not an army. How many has the army got?
The army's initially had a fleet of 67 Apaches, which we purchased back in 2000. And our roles in terms of helicopters between us and the RAF are slightly different. This is a battlefield helicopter. It's designed for offensive action against enemy vehicles and targets, and that's very much an army business.
Do you get to fly it a lot in the UK, or is it more abroad?
We fly all around the UK on a daily, almost weekly basis, conducting standard training, and we also travel all over Europe and the United States and around the world on ships, doing our training and operations.
You were an air cadet before this?
Yeah, when I was pretty young, I was an 1175 Squadron Prenton Training Corps, and also we got opportunities to fly Bulldog aircraft out of Woodvale when I was 13 years old.
So what was it like flying a Bulldog aircraft and then coming into an Apache?
Yeah, it's a slightly different machine. The Bulldog was a very analogue propeller-driven aeroplane, and I was actually too short to see over the instrument panel back then. And then coming into an Apache, which is obviously a helicopter, and also it's got a lot of technology on board. It's different. However, airmanship and flying skills are pretty much the same for any aeroplane or helicopter.
Is there any technology you're most interested in explaining or doing?
Yeah, I can talk you around the aircraft. Weapon systems, for example, these are the rails for the M299 rails for the Hellfire missiles. We also carry CRV-7 rockets, which are 70mm rockets, and also our weaponry underneath the aircraft, which you can see just down there, is a 30mm cannon. With that, we can slave that to the pilot's head, and wherever the pilot looks, the cannon will follow. Also, we have radars on board and thermal imaging systems to fly in complete darkness, and also our engines, very powerful engines, the Rolls-Royce jet engines, which will give us the power of about 5 or 6 Formula 1 cars.
And can you give us the speed?
Top speed, it depends what the wind's doing, but usually we're around 200 miles per hour.
We've got a lot of air shows coming up. Are you doing any, particularly Southport?
We're not doing Southport, unfortunately. I'd love to, but not this year. Our next one is Yeovilton on the 8th of July. And if you go onto our Facebook page, Attack Helicopter Display Team, that'll have a full rundown of where we're flying this year.
Now, flying out to the... Is it going to be a tear in the eye when you do it, or...?
It'll be a proud moment, but I'll probably be back next week when I'm off work.
Well, thank you for your time. I hope you have a great flight out, and good luck.
Thank you very much.